Chosen ones, you're drawing everything you've ever dreamed of toward you because you took action. Lift your head, chosen ones, and hear the thunder echoing in your soul. It's a call tearing through the monotony of your daily routine. You've faced struggles that others couldn't understand. The slow suffocation of mindless habits, the sting of doubt from those who said you wouldn't make it, the feeling that your heart is bigger than the world you're stuck in. You've felt the weight of ordinary life trying to shrink you down, and yet you fought with everything you had to claim a life that aligns with the fire inside you. Something shifted within you, an act so bold, so intentional, that it shattered invisible barriers. Now the universe has no choice but to flood your path with every dream you once thought was out of reach. If you feel that fire burning in your veins, then stand with us in this movement. Like this video, subscribe, and comment 77 foot to show that you're ready for the unstoppable transformation unfolding before you. Chapter 1. A crack in the illusion. You remember the moment it happened, as if a crack appeared in the illusion of your life. It wasn't just one event, but a series of quiet realizations, like waking up from a bad dream only to realize the real world is even harder than you thought. You were living by someone else's rules, maybe a boss defining your worth, a friend's opinion holding back your confidence, or the lingering judgment you placed on yourself. It felt like trying to wear someone else's clothes, too tight, cutting into you. And then you saw that crack, a subtle shift in your view, a small fracture in the illusions you had carried. In that instant, you saw yourself differently, your reflection in a coffee shop window or the rearview mirror of your car. Your eyes looked sharper, almost fierce, as you realized that life was far bigger than you had been led to believe. The illusions tried to keep you small. Stay in this lane, do what's expected, don't dream too boldly. But you felt the crack widen. The life you had wasn't the life your spirit demanded. Something inside rebelled at the thought of living out your days in quiet defeat. So you made a vow. You swore to yourself that you wouldn't swallow lies about your limitations. You decided to peel away layers of opinions and doubts that weren't even yours to begin with. That vow was small at first, maybe a silent promise while lying awake at midnight, but it carried the weight of 1,000 roars. Unbeknownst to you, the moment you made that internal shift, the universe leaned closer. A cosmic recognition sparked in realms beyond sight. Here is a chosen one, waking up. Prepare the path to them. In the days that followed, you felt uneasy, both excited and terrified. The illusion still lingered, refusing to vanish in a single instant. Yet you could no longer deny that a real shift had begun. The daily tasks, washing dishes, commuting to work, scrolling your phone, took on a surreal quality, as if part of you observed from above. You wondered if others saw the glow flickering in your eyes, or sensed the quiet determination building within. You might have expected external validation to keep you going, but it never came. This was your private revolution, ignited by your refusal to live a counterfeit life. The cracks in the illusion spread further each time you chose to trust yourself over the naysayers. You noticed opportunities where once you saw dead ends. You recognized your own resilience in moments of stress. Yes, fear still showed up at your door, but you greeted it with a question. Are you sure you belong here? The more you challenged fear's presence, the more you realized it was nothing but vapor, a relic of an older existence you no longer inhabited. And so you moved forward, guided by a faint but growing light. You felt destiny swirl around you, intangible yet real as breath. People you once felt compelled to please seemed less relevant. Situations that once felt safe or comforting now felt stifling. Though you faced confusion, the act of turning away from illusions brought a fresh wind to your lungs. You realized you weren't just passively existing. You were forging a path that demanded no more apologies for who you are. This was the spark, and from that spark, you lit a fire that would eventually incinerate every lie holding you back. The illusions crackled, and through their embers, you saw the faint silhouette of a future that matched your innermost dreams. The universe was stirring. A silent agreement formed between you and a cosmic power that recognized your newfound readiness. And in that hush, life began to twist in your favor, responding to the vow you'd made. The vow that said, no more illusions, no more living small. My spirit is vast and I won't hide it anymore. Chapter 2. The Ritual of Letting Go. In the wake of that initial vow, you confronted the next challenge, letting go of everything that no longer fit your awakened vision. This was no simple matter. It demanded a ritual of release, a shedding of burdens you'd carried so long they felt like second skin. You discovered that letting go doesn't happen with a snap of the fingers. It's an act of war against the gravitational pull of old habits, old relationships, and old self-concepts. You started small, perhaps by cleaning out the physical clutter in your space. Items that reminded you of stagnant times found their way to donation bins or the trash. But there was more to be purged than objects. Emotional ties bound you to places and people who thrived on your complacency. Maybe it was a friend who constantly belittled your aspirations or a job that snuffed out your creative spark. For too long, you'd endured them out of loyalty, fear, or plain inertia. This purge triggered waves of nostalgia and doubt. You recalled memories, some sweet, some painfully twisted, associated with what you were releasing. Your heart twisted with the fear that you might be discarding valuable parts of yourself, but a deeper knowing insisted, these pieces no longer serve the future you're stepping into. And so the ritual continued, each farewell tinged with both sorrow and liberation. Some days you questioned if you were going too far. In fleeting moments, the comfort of old patterns tempted you. But as the universe often does, it sent a sign, a conversation overheard, or a sudden pang in your chest that reminded you of your vow. You're meant for more. Keep shedding. Each time you listened, you felt your soul loosen its shackles a bit more, expanding into a clearer version of your authentic self. This wasn't a purely solitary endeavor. A handful of allies emerged, intrigued by the glow of transformation around you. They didn't push you back into old molds. Instead, they cheered you on as you severed ties with draining influences. Their presence reinforced your conviction that you weren't alone in this radical cleansing. You recognized them as fellow travelers on a path where the ordinary rules no longer applied, where forging your own destiny was the highest law. Yet not everyone welcomed this change. Some accused you of arrogance or ingratitude. Others tried to guilt-trip you into reverting to the old ways. The friction cut deep, tempting you to revert for the sake of peace. But the vow you'd made thundered louder, reminding you that the price of your destiny was the willingness to stand your ground. So, you pressed on, the ritual incomplete until every last dead weight was cast off. Remarkably, each time you let go of a draining element, space opened up for new blessings. The universe abhors a vacuum, so into those gaps rush fresh opportunities, soulful connections, and unexpected resources. The more you relinquished, the more you realized just how cluttered your life had been with the unnecessary. Underneath the old layers, your raw essence gleamed. You understood that by letting go, you'd unknowingly created a magnet for everything your spirit had ever yearned for. Through this ritual, your essence grew potent, charged with the clarity of a life aligned with truth. The burdens that once weighed you down evaporated, revealing how flexible and formidable you could be when unshackled. Though exhaustion sometimes plagued you, it felt like a necessary catharsis, a side effect of metamorphosis. And after the dust settled, you emerged lighter, stronger, and more receptive to what the universe had in store. You'd cleared the stage and the next act was ready to begin. A grand performance starring the truest version of you, unencumbered and unstoppable. Chapter 3. The Spark of Realization. With your world purged of yesterday's dead weight, a strange new vitality took root in you. It was as though every breath hung with the frequency of untapped possibility. You awoke each morning, not with dread, but with a subtle thrill that flickered in your chest. There, in that swirl of newfound space, a spark of realization glowed. You recognized that your destiny wasn't a distant star you might never reach. It was nearer than your next heartbeat, simply waiting for you to tune in. This epiphany arrived unannounced. Perhaps while you were engaged in a mundane task, like folding laundry or organizing your workspace, you felt a gentle hush settle over your mind. And suddenly you grasped that you already possessed everything needed to begin magnetizing your dream reality. It wasn't about external validation or waiting for some big break. The power to shape your destiny had always lived in your soul, like a seed waiting to be watered by intention. The intensity of this spark caught you off guard. You'd spent years looking outward for signs that you were on the right track, seeking approval, craving that perfect circumstance. Now you understood in a single burning instant that the ultimate sign resides within. Nobody else could grant you permission to become who you were always meant to be. The universe had extended countless invitations, but you alone had to sign on the dotted line. With that realization, your perspective shifted radically. You stopped obsessing over outcomes and started focusing on the process of becoming. Instead of anxiously counting the days until your big moment, you poured your energy into cultivating the traits and habits your highest self would embody. If you envisioned a life of creativity, you made time for exploration each day. If success called your name, you structured your mornings to reflect discipline and ambition. Little by little, you saw how these modest efforts lit a fuse that crackled towards your grander goals. Others began to notice a difference in you, an electricity in your presence. They asked what had changed, but you found it difficult to explain. How could you condense this lightning bolt awareness into words? The best you could say was that you finally believed, deep in your marrow, that you were worthy of your dreams. And this belief glowed with such certainty, it became a beacon, drawing exactly the people and resources necessary for your breakthrough. Yet with each step forward, old fears pounced, testing whether the spark could be doused. Doubts about your capabilities or condemnation from those still wedded to your former self nibbled at your confidence. But a subtle shift had taken root in your psyche, rendering you less susceptible to negativity. The spark of realization was no fragile flame. It was a durable ember, fueling you from within. Each trial became a chance to reaffirm, yes, I am enough. Yes, I am chosen for greater things. This newfound anchor set you on a collision course with everything you'd quietly longed for. And the universe, ever responsive, began to conspire in your favor more blatantly. Unexplained synchronicities multiplied. Vital connections slipped into your life. People whose experiences mirrored your own path of awakening. Resources materialized just as you needed them, as if cosmic storehouses had decided to sponsor your vision. All because you'd awakened to the truth that you yourself were the catalyst. In that moment, standing at the crossroads of old shadows and new promise, you felt a steadiness seep into your bones. Life didn't transform overnight into a fairy tale. Instead, you recognized that the journey was the real gift, the daily unfolding of a reality shaped by your own awakened spirit. Your dreams weren't random illusions. They were seeds you had the power to cultivate, each one brimming with the universe's silent yes, waiting for your unwavering will to guide them into bloom. Chapter 4. The subterranean work. Armed with this fierce new understanding, you began the deep, often invisible work of self-mastery. Unlike the dramatic changes of letting go, this phase played out beneath the surface, in the quiet corners of your mind and heart. On the outside, life appeared normal enough. Perhaps you rose at the same time, commuted along the same route, chatted with the same people. But internally, entire worlds were rearranging themselves. You noticed your thoughts more keenly than ever. Anytime a limiting belief or self-critical voice whispered doubt into your psyche, you caught it mid-sentence. Rather than letting these mental intruders define your reality, you interrogated them. Where did you come from? Are you based on actual truth or on old wounds? Often, these beliefs crumbled under scrutiny. Slowly but surely, your mind began to reflect the boundless nature of the destiny you were stepping into, rather than the cramped narratives you'd once swallowed whole. This subterranean work also involved recalibrating your emotional triggers. Before, a single offhand remark could send you spiraling into insecurity or anger for days. Now you pause before reacting, deciphering the root of your discomfort. You recognized how past traumas or unhealed aspects of yourself could warp your perception of the present moment. And in that recognition, you found the power to transform pain into wisdom. Each time you refused to let a trigger dominate you, your inner foundation grew sturdier, more resistant to manipulation by fear. Meanwhile, a sense of solitude enveloped you. Not because you lacked companionship, but because you willingly walked a path few dare attempt. Late at night, while the world slept, you quietly engaged in journaling, meditation or prayer, whatever you called it. The aim was the same: to commune with your deepest self and the cosmic intelligence that breathed life into your dreams. This nightly vigil was your anchor, a sacred space where the universe's guidance flowed in and your convictions crystallized. The transformation you yearned for wasn't going to come from external forces alone. It required consistent, gentle work in the unseen realm of your soul. Though the changes were subtle, they were also unmistakably profound. You found yourself more at peace in chaos, more tolerant of uncertainty. The anxious energy that once plagued your mornings lifted as you realized you possessed an internal compass that never failed, so long as you tended it faithfully. Each day you showed up to this subterranean labor, laying invisible bricks that fortified the architecture of your new life. People around you might have puzzled over how you managed to remain so composed, so hopeful in the face of challenges. They saw only the surface of your life, maybe attributing your calm to luck or unwavering positivity. But you knew the truth. It was the result of constant devotion to that hidden realm within, where your passions and spirit met the grand blueprint the universe had in store for you. This was the soil from which you'd eventually harvest the fruits of your destiny. All the while, you still carried out the tasks of ordinary existence, paying bills, managing relationships, fulfilling daily obligations. Yet these tasks no longer felt like a chain around your ankles. They became part of your training ground, giving you endless opportunities to refine your inner growth. The universe, it seemed, had woven your external realities into a tapestry that both tested and augmented your subterranean work. With every small triumph, your dream reality drew closer, magnetized by the unwavering signal you were broadcasting from the depths of your being. Chapter 5: The Mirror of Alignment. Emerging from that subterranean season, you noticed an astonishing phenomenon. Reality itself seemed to mirror your inner state with pinpoint accuracy. If you woke grounded and grateful, the day flowed effortlessly, punctuated by serendipitous encounters and perfect timing. If you let anxiety or self-doubt take the wheel, stumbling blocks rose up as though placed by your own reflection. You could no longer dismiss the direct link between your mindset and the external events spinning around you. At first, this revelation was thrilling. You tested it in small ways, visualizing a smooth commute, inviting timely solutions to daily tasks, setting an intention of empathy before delicate conversations. Each time, the universe replied as if patiently awaiting your signal. More than any law of attraction and cliché, it felt like a cosmic feedback loop, confirming that your spirit and destiny were in collaborative motion. Your only job was to keep your frequency in harmony with your highest aspirations. Yet this mirror of alignment wasn't always comforting. When irritation or bitterness simmered, your outer world walked accordingly. Maybe you clashed with a friend, misplaced an important document, or faced an unexpected delay. It was as if an invisible teacher instantly reflected every subtle shift within you, revealing whether your core energy was constructive or corrosive. You realized the reflection worked both ways. Your world was the canvas and your emotions were the paint. This double-edged truth proved both humbling and empowering. You could no longer accuse random fate for every bump in the road. Granted, some circumstances were beyond your influence, but your response to them, and the beliefs fueling that response, directly affected how they unfolded in your reality. That knowledge became a profound responsibility. You understood that deliberate, moment-to-moment stewardship of your internal landscape was the master key to unlocking endless blessings. In light of this, you began holding yourself to higher standards. Nursing a negative mood for too long was akin to pouring sugar into an engine. It guaranteed a future breakdown. Conversely, radiating sincere faith and gratitude seemed to part the Red Sea of life's congestion, ushering in unexpected shortcuts toward your dreams. Over time, you disciplined yourself to avoid wallowing in complaints, to catch spirals of self-criticism early, and to pivot toward solutions as soon as trouble surfaced. Some people in your circle remarked that you carried an almost magical aura and an innate ability to turn obstacles into stepping stones. A few might have dismissed your transformation as escapist or naive, accusing you of dwelling in a fairy tale bubble. Yet you knew that your outer good fortune stemmed from daily inner labor. Each morning, you quietly reaffirmed your commitment to operate from a place of reverence, possibility, and poise. Sure enough, life answered back with more synchronicities, coincidences, and doors swinging open than you could have dreamed possible. As the days turned to weeks, you delved deeper into the implications of this mirror phenomenon. You recognized that maintaining positive alignment wasn't about never feeling sorrow or frustration. It was about swiftly recalibrating whenever you noticed yourself veering off course. You became adept at pausing in intense moments, breathing through them, then asking, "What am I calling into my life right now?" Even in sorrow, you aimed to find a seed of hope. Even in anger, you tried to see a hidden lesson. The universe, ever watchful, expanded your capacity to hold both the light and dark of human experience without losing your footing. These discoveries reshaped not only your day-to-day perspective, but also your long-term vision. You started envisioning bigger dreams, endeavors once dismissed as unattainable, and watched with awe as the mirror responded. Your unwavering focus attracted mentors you never thought you'd meet, ideas you thought were beyond you, and resources you believed scarce. It was as though each time you dared to strengthen your alignment, the universe said, "Finally, you're ready," and placed another puzzle piece in your hands. This shift in your reality also altered your relationships. People who thrived on negativity found less and less in common with you. They either adjusted their outlook or gently drifted away, making space for kindred spirits who resonated with your new frequency. Strangely enough, there was no heartbreak in these goodbyes. You sensed the mirror's wisdom at work, ensuring your environment supported your calling rather than hampered it. By this stage, it was clear you weren't just floating toward your destiny. You were an active participant, shaping each hour with the sheer force of your focused intention. This co-creative power, fed by your will and the limitless resources of the universe, carried you ever closer to that elusive threshold you'd been seeking since the very beginning. Once, you only guessed that a life of magic and wonder could be real. Now you resided in it daily, molding reality through the alchemy of your consistent thoughts and actions. Thus, the mirror of alignment became both ally and guide, reflecting in real time the truth of where your energy stood. By honoring its lessons, you dissolved the barriers between you and your long-held dreams, stepping into a life where the extraordinary emerged as naturally as the sunrise. No longer fearful of illusions or external forces, you felt the calm certainty of someone who knows exactly how to set the tone for the day by first tuning the instrument of your own heart. Chapter 6. The Uprising of Your Gifts. In that refined atmosphere of alignment, the hidden gifts seated within your soul began to bloom in earnest. Perhaps you'd always sensed a flair for creativity, empathy, or leadership, but never had these gifts manifested with such magnitude. Freed from the chokehold of self-doubt and scarcity, they found fertile soil. Not content to appear one by one, they blossomed collectively, forming a vibrant bouquet of abilities you barely recognized as your own. You might notice a startling capacity for intuitively reading people's hidden needs, an uncanny ease in translating complex ideas into tangible realities, or an emotional intelligence that disarms even the most guarded souls. These aren't random talents. They are facets of a divine blueprint unique to you. The universe embedded them within your spirit as potential keys, each now clicking into place as you stand in your true alignment. Where you once hesitated, you now open those locked doors without second guessing. Still, embracing these gifts feels a bit like slipping into a new identity. You wrestle with questions of worthiness. Do you truly deserve to wield such capabilities? But the cosmic guidance that has ushered you this far reassures you that playing small no longer serves. This isn't about flaunting superiority. It's about honoring a sacred endowment meant to bring healing, innovation, and hope to a world hungry for authenticity. Naturally, not everyone applauds your uprising. Old peers or relatives may accuse you of acting above your station. Whispers of, "Who do you think you are?" can sting. Yet your fortified sense of self shields you from such resistance. Hiding your gifts to keep the status quo unruffled is no longer an option. If certain individuals choose not to rise alongside you, The universe often orchestrates their quiet exit from your daily orbit, making room for those who harmonize with your ascending frequency. In this season of transformation, a fresh circle of companions gathers around you. They too are discovering and expanding their innate capacities, supporting one another through shared breakthroughs. Conversations flow toward the deeper currents of life, leaving small talk in the dust. This synergy accelerates everyone's evolution, confirming that your gifts aren't anomalies but part of a collective awakening in human consciousness. Gone is your reliance on external validation. Instead, a quiet certainty settles in. Your gifts are real, your transformation undeniable, and your possibilities boundless. In response, the universe continues to open doors. Each new opportunity is drawn by a subtle magnetic field emanating from your authentic core. Striving is replaced by receiving, as though your very presence now resonates with life's hidden currents. Your entire life rearranges itself around this uprising. Mundane tasks gleam with new meaning when infused with your unfolding talents. The future no longer looms as a dismal unknown. It stretches out like a blank canvas, eager for your distinctive brushstrokes. Day by day, you awaken to deeper layers of your hidden genius, discovering that even your loftiest ambitions might be stepping stones to an even greater vision, one that evolves as quickly as you do. Such is the uprising of your gifts, not a sudden takeover, but an unstoppable swell of potential you can no longer deny. You stand at the forefront of your own brilliance, both witness and participant in a spectacle that transcends mere personal gain. The world shifts in your wake, one revelation at a time, as you step into the truth of who you were always meant to be. Chapter 7. The Great Magnetic Paw. At last, all the strands of your journey converge in a single vibrant current. The illusions you shattered, the burdens you released, the subterranean work you tackled, the mirror of alignment you mastered, and the gifts you unleashed. Together, they form a vortex of energy that radiates from you like a living force. You feel it in your body, humming in your marrow. People sense it too, gravitating to you with questions, admiration, or awe. It's no longer a mystery. You're magnetizing everything you've ever dreamed of because you've become the force you once sought outside yourself. This magnetism isn't about bending reality to your will in some manipulative sense. Rather, it's the natural consequence of total authenticity, when your mind, heart, and soul stand aligned. When you broadcast unashamed confidence in your purpose, the cosmos responds like a dance partner. Everything you secretly thought was too big or unattainable edges closer. A synergy unfolds. Each new resource or opportunity that arrives amplifies your faith, and your heightened faith attracts even more. Yet it's not only about grand breakthroughs. Smaller wonders become commonplace. Intuitive sparks during everyday tasks. Timely encouragement from friends who reach out at exactly the right moment. These subtle miracles confirm that the universe weaves support through every corner of your life. Even simple choices like wearing a bold color can ripple into fresh avenues of possibility, drawing in new ideas and connections you never considered. The intensity of this final stage can be overwhelming. Imagine living on the brink of miraculous possibility, never entirely sure which second will catapult your dreams to fruition. You've built the foundation to manage it, though the anxious waiting that once consumed you has evolved into a wonder-filled acceptance of the universe's unstoppable flow. Instead of dreading uncertainty, you greet it as a canvas on which to paint your ongoing transformation. Casting your gaze back, you see how vastly different your life is from the days of caged ambitions and stifling routines. You once longed for a single sign of hope. Now you dwell in a sea of signs. You once felt paralyzed by fear. Now you stride boldly through doors that once felt sealed. Most remarkable of all, you realize it wasn't random luck or mere external forces. It was you, the chosen one, who dismantled each barrier obscuring your inherent radiance. By doing so, you emerge as an irresistible magnet for what was once deemed out of reach. Friends and colleagues marvel at your transformation, asking what inspired such dramatic shifts. You reflect on the vow you made, the illusions you shattered, and the daily acts of faith that pulled your dreams into the tangible realm. No single piece can be lifted from the mosaic without unraveling the entire pattern. Each decision, from letting go of outmoded fears to embracing developing talents, fueled the unstoppable current that now delivers precisely what you need, exactly when you need it. You glimpse an even more expansive horizon forming ahead. Fresh insights suggest bigger roles you might play on global platforms or within circles longing for inspiration. Your understanding of what's possible widens with every sunrise, and so does your humility. You see that the universe's ability to expand your vision is boundless, continually creating doorways you never anticipated. This doesn't drain you, it stokes a joyful expectancy. If this much has manifested, what else might bloom on the next horizon? Meanwhile, you recognize the importance of handling your newfound magnetism with care. People gather around you, some seeking hope, others curious. Like a lighthouse, you shine guidance, but you don't force anyone's hand. This balanced approach confirms your readiness to steward the cosmic yes, not only for yourself, but to ignite potential in others. On a practical level, new responsibilities likely surface. Leadership invitations, creative collaborations, speaking engagements. Each time you accept a challenge, you expand your comfort zone, reaffirming that alignment with your soul's path transcends any limits once imposed by fear. In return, the universe keeps sending you resources at precisely the right moments, reinforcing the cycle of faith and manifestation. All the while, gratitude keeps you grounded. Reflecting on your earlier struggles, you see how vital each hardship was in forging your current fortitude. Had you dodged those trials, you wouldn't stand in such unwavering certainty now, a certainty that can't be bored, only earned. This realization brings depth to the simplest routines. A walk in nature, a quiet meditation. Even sipping tea becomes a moment to honor how far you've come. Gradually, you feel a final wave of readiness rising within, affirming that this chapter isn't an ending, but a launchpad. You embody the truth of magnetized destiny, showing that the universe bends willingly for those who dare to fulfill their highest purpose. In the quiet moments after every victory, you feel the rhythm of infinite possibilities, an eternal beat urging you forward. This moment is both an ending and a new beginning, a peak reached with the next one already appearing on the horizon. Your journey, woven with bravery, surrender, and cosmic grace, resonates with a frequency that inspires others to awaken their own potential. By choosing authenticity over fear, you've ignited a light in a world filled with uncertainty. And so, you move forward, your heart in harmony with the universal pulse, trusting that the same magnetic force that guided you here will lead you to the next great discovery. The universe stands ready, softly whispering, "There is more." And you respond with an eager, "Yes." Each summit is just another stepping stone to greater heights. And you ascend with joy, knowing that the peak always stretches further once you've reached it. This magnetic pull is a continuous dance, blending grace, courage, and limitless potential, drawing your spirit higher into uncharted territories and dreams yet to unfold.